Yeah, so as an introduction, I'm Tom. I'm the tech editor at SidePoint. You can tell I'm an editor because I still use paper and not iPads. So tonight, really what I'm going to do is just sell someone else's plugin really blatantly. I want to talk to you about hover intent. I don't doubt a lot of you actually heard of it and probably use it in projects. It's not that new, but it's really cool. At least it changed my life when I first discovered it. It's one of those tools that when you first use it, it just swamps your brain with joy because it's got an ingenious mix of handy functionality, intuitiveness, simplicity, and downright almost smart-ass cleverness. If I'm speaking to the converted or the well-versed with hover intent, bear with me for a while. I'm going to proselytize about it for 5 minutes. So, what is it? Simply put, it's a jQuery plugin. And simply is actually the operative word. It's superbly basic to include and implement, and that's literally all you do. You just include it like you would jQuery, the library, or Modernizer, or something like that. But to step back a notch, I guess it pays to remember when you guys first discovered jQuery, and that might be a while for a lot of you. For me, it's fairly recent. I'm fairly recent to the world of dev. But when I did discover it, it was great because it meant all that mucking around in JavaScript and DOM traversal and stuff could go the way of the dodo as far as I was concerned, and I had a really cool tool to take care of it for me. So sorry, you JavaScript purists, you know, I'm a jQuery fanatic. So anyway, yeah, when I first dipped my toes in it, all I gave two hoots about really was the fun stuff and things like Ajax and form validation and all that. That was cool, but that could wait. I wanted to do buckets of cool animation and make one of those websites that my Luddite little sister would sit down and go, wow, that's a really cool site. How did you do that? And I could just sit back and smile happily. So I fell in love with the drop-down menu, which, you know, is loathed or loved by many people almost instantaneously upon use. When I realized how effortless jQuery made it, I was doubly in love with it. After months and months of mucking about with CSS techniques that took ages to perfect and really didn't look that funky anyway once they were implemented, jQuery came along and yeah, all of a sudden it was great. I had animations, sliders, drop-downs, you name it. So you know, it seemed a bit superficial after scripting and coding, but whatever, it was just plain fun. So yeah, Hover is one of those events developers and designers either love or loathe. As I said, I can understand why, because it just looks cool and smooth and sexy when it's used properly. When it's not used properly, or when it's overused, and I think we've all come across an example of it, it's really awful. And it's just, there's nothing worse than going to a site where a simple movement of the mouse just causes the entire web page to kind of convulse like the contents of a stomach or something like that. It's just disgusting. And it's guaranteed to get people never coming back to your site, as well as various usability issues. So yeah, I created my first drop-down menus. They seem simple enough. Just target them in the DOM with jQuery, bring in the animate function on my CSS height property, blah, 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 and you know, the hard work was taken care of. Add some fade in and out speeds, whatever you like. The problem I found, of course, was that the li tags, which I was usually targeting, were in close proximity. So, you know, hover is hover, and when a user would move their mouse over, we would get something akin to this. So things flagging back and forth. I've got a color animation there. Please don't laugh at this really, really crappy design. I literally knocked it up this afternoon, okay? This is not something I would ever deploy. But hey, for the purposes of tonight, it's okay. So yeah, I've got like really ugly color animation here and basic drop-downs, and okay, you're never going to get a user who sits there doing this on your site, but nonetheless, I mean, it's just pretty bloody awful, let's face it. So even to the point where I think if you do that enough, it just sort of keeps doing it for a while. And yeah, again, you know, usability, whatever, it's just, it looks terrible. So yeah, like it was happening with colors, with menus, you know, and this was something I really wanted to use in my applications, okay. So basically, yeah, I got pointed in the direction of Brian Chern's website, chern.net. I won't bring it up on screen. It's cherne.net. He's basically just knocked up a little plugin called Hover Intent. I'll plagiarize his explanation on his site. He says, Hover Intent is a plugin that attempts to determine the user's intent like a crystal ball, only with mouse movement. It works like and was derived from jQuery's built-in hover. However, instead of immediately calling the on-mouse-over function, it waits until the user's mouse slows down enough before making the call. So it's one of those, a plugin that basically does your thinking for you, but not overly and not intrusively. It assumes the obvious on your behalf, but keeps you in total control of your navigation. A brilliant little concept born, I like to think, out of an annoying problem that came packaged with an otherwise awesome piece of jQuery functionality, which is the animate function as it works with the hover or mouse over event. So here we go with it, and I mean, you can sort of back and forth and you get nothing, but when you slow down, bingo, there you go, you've got your hover working nice. You can actually go into the config file and tweak the settings if you like. I think you can set the timer, you can set like the delay between mouse coordinates and all kinds of stuff. There's absolutely no point. The default settings are perfect. It's not groundbreaking at all, but that's my point tonight. It's subtle, it's clever, and it works, and it's made my life a lot easier. So just to wrap up, oh yeah, I'll just go quickly to, okay, text editor. So that literally, it is, where's my include? Right, okay. Sorry. Anyway, look, you include it in the head of your HTML document. It's up there, and all you do is here, rather than hover, you just put hover intent. It's that bloody simple, really. Change hover to hover intent. It's a fantastic little thing, and yeah, that's what I know. Thank you.
Thanks very much.